What's up, guys? How you guys doing? This is Ray. Today I'm going to show you this great plugin that I've been messing around with, and it's pretty cool. So we're looking at Audified RZ062 Equalizer. Now this equalizer comes in two flavors. You have the A and the B, and over here I'm over at Audified's website, and this is actually an emulation plugin. Real hardware exists, and I'm not gonna dive into all of that. If you want to know more about this link is gonna be there. You can read about it, and I'm gonna minimize this. Let's go right into Pro Tools. So here's what I'm working with. I got this session here, currently mixing. Unfortunately, it can't play the whole thing, but I will play this little part right here, and that's what we're gonna use for this example. I already have this plugins loaded, and as you can see, I have them on bypass and I have them on default. All right, so we're gonna look at the A version of the plugin, and before we play any audio, let's just take a look. So over here you have this cool meters, this cool analog meters, which I love, and you have your inputs, you have your outputs. Same as this side, you have your right in and your right out. Now, if we take a look here, you have your input adjust, output adjust, same to the right. And at the bottom, you have on off, so you can basically turn the plugin on, turn it off. You have mode LR, and you have mid side, which is something you can probably use for mastering if you wanted to. You have your link, which this is pretty cool because you could process your left and right separately. But for the most part, I normally like to link things, leave them together. But it is a cool option. It is something that comes really handy when you want to process the left side. You want to process the right side a little different. I've done that before. Definitely comes in handy. And over here we have saturation. And the way you would adjust that, you come over here to services, click it, drop down window opens. You have a couple of options here. You have user's manual, check for update, send us your feedback, request support, so on and so on. But what you want to do, you want to come over here to set calibration. And over here you have the slider. So messing around with the slider, you can trigger the saturation. So at the moment, we're just gonna keep it at default. I'm gonna press OK. Today, we're not gonna look at the presets. Normally, I love to go through presets. All right, so now that I showed you all these stuff, now let's talk about the heart of the plugin. Let's talk about the part that you're gonna be focusing on the most, which is the center part of the plugin. So this reminds me of like older radios that used to have bass, mids, and treble, had the knobs. And you can either boost or you can lower them down. So it's kind of the same thing. So over here you have your treble, your middle, and your bass. But of course, this is going to do a lot more than those radios. I compared it to that because it does remind me of stuff like that. So if you want to adjust, just grab your mouse, go up, you're going to add treble, go down, you're going to lower the treble. So you can see you have a plus and a minus. Now over here in the middle, here's where things get a little different. Now, I'm not really going to go into the whole explanation of how the middle works because there are two different versions of the plugin. You have the A and you have the B. And they're basically the same except the middle changes. Now, if we go to the A and we check out the frequency graphs, check this out. This right here is exactly what happens. Now, on the second plugin, the B version, you have 4 different frequencies to select from. All of that, I'm going to leave it here. It's going to be in the description. You want to dive into that, you can do that. You guys already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to push the plugin to the limit. We're going to hear what this plugin can exactly do. Yes, it's good to understand how the plugin works. If you're going to be using any type of compression, EQ, you want to know how they work, how the frequencies work when you adjust them. That's very important to know. So I'm going to bypass this, and I'm going to show you this little section here that I'm working with. This is a song that I'm mixing. Can't play the whole thing for you guys, but check it out. So, had that on solo. Let's take that off. Yeah, I really can't play that. I don't want to get my channel hit with a copyright. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to solo this, and we're going to be focusing on the synth part. I'm going to take this off bypass, and one of the things I'm going to do first, I'm going to mess with the highs. Now I'm going to take it off solo, and let's see how it sounds without it. Then when it comes back around, I'm going to turn the plugin back on. Sounds pretty good. And we're going to do the same thing for the middle. Now remember, if you watch my videos, I like to push things. I want to push the plugin to its max. In a real session, you might not want to do this, but I want you guys to hear what this plugin is capable of doing. Now we're going to adjust the low end, and we're going to do the same thing. Let's go. So now I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to start taking away the highs, the mids, and the lows. See what happens. Interesting. All right, so I'm going to reset this back to factory. Okay, so the plugin's back at default. And now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to boost up the highs a little bit. Maybe the mids. I'm going to leave the low end at its default position. And I want to come over here to services. And I want to set calibration. And what I want to do is, I want to take the slider. I'm going to bring it right towards the middle. Press OK. Check this out. So we're going to go back. We're going to add a little more. And let's play, see what happens. Pretty nice. All right, so let's bypass this plugin and let's go on to the B version of the plugin. Okay, so as I said before, both plugins are pretty much identical except the mid control. And right here's the chart. This is exactly what's happening in model A, and this is exactly what's happening in model B. So if you want to really look into this, the best thing would be go to your plugin, go to services, go to users manuals, and that's going to open up. I'll link it in the description. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the plugin on bypass as I did before. I'm going to start adjusting things. And yes, I know they're both identical, but I'm going to still mess with the highs and the lows. Let's go. All right, so you heard the plugin in and out of bypass. I was messing with all the frequencies, so I'm going to go ahead and default this. And as you can see, I went to services, calibration, and I took the slider, put it all the way to the left. And you know what? I'm going to just bring it right back down towards the middle. This time, I'm going to just mess around with the middle frequency alone. The next thing we're going to talk about, the link on, link off. And I find this to be pretty useful at times. For example, let's say the sim track that I'm working on, the left and right might be a little different, and you might want to process them a little different. If links on, if this option is on, when I move the highs, check it out, they both move at the same time. But if I take link off, check this out. You can process them differently. So let's mess around with this. Let's process the left and right a little different. So I'm going to shut the mic off. Let's go. That's pretty cool. I definitely find that useful. I have a couple of compressors that have options like this. You can process both of them at the same time, the left and right, or you can process them separately. For the most part, normally this is on. But there are occasions where you're gonna wanna turn it off. And over here in mode, you have mid-high, which I honestly haven't messed around with, but you can put this on the master channel and mess around with this stuff. And I'm definitely gonna do that. So if we put this on, yeah, it's something definitely to mess around with. And the last one is power off, which I already discussed. Basically, it takes the plug-in and turns it on, turns it off. So basically, that's the RZ062 A and B. Fantastic plugins. Check the description. You're going to find out all the information you need to know. Try out this plugin. It doesn't require an iLok to run, but it requires the iLok manager. You can authorize your computer. All you need to do is go to iLok.com, download the software, create an account, which most of you guys probably already have one, and authorize your computer. I prefer to do the iLok. I can take it from computer to computer, but hey, that's just me.